Well, hello. I know I told you it was my last rant, but going through paperwork, trying to get some stuff settled. Yes, I even drank the product that tried to kill me. But anyways, here's me. Here's my first ever. In the Court of Queen's Bench for Saskatchewan, Judicial Center, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, State of Claims, Canada, Province of Saskatchewan, William Anthony Kowalski, Plaintiff versus Coca-Cola Bottlers, Prince Albert. None of them would take it, accept it, or do anything with it. The lawyers, the court system said it's got nothing to do with provincial, it's all federal. And you can't do nothing at the provincial court with it, because if you go there and you tell them, oh, it's an SGI claim, well, it's federal. It's a WCB claim, oh, it's federal. You go to the federal court and they tell you, oh no, it's provincial. Where did you hear that? They're telling you untruths. That's what I've been getting ever since. Anyways, this one is called from the driver's program. This is the one where I had to go to just to try to keep my licenses. And I can't even drive a class 5 now. But anyways, here's my one report, just stating it all. You can see it all. Tony, Mr. William Kowalski at the address. SGI. Medical Review Unit. Evaluations Program. And there's my doctors. Obrigovich, my family physician. Lenoir, my pain doctor. He's the guy I go see for all my drugs and stuff and other counseling. And then there's me. And there's then there's them. Occupational therapist. Anyways, for the rest of it, it's just basic crap, you know. Air, acceleration, braking, smooth control, steering two-handed, 9 and 3, independent use of vehicle equipment, parking angle good. Parallel parking was not assessed. Signal used constantly. Shoulder check. Was able to physically complete shoulder checking with unguarded movements. He consistently completed shoulder checks in preparation for lane changes in all environments. He was aware of his surroundings, whatever. Lane position adequate in both high and low speeds. Lane changing adequate. Turns, mergers, able to complete turns and mergers appropriately. Road sign, traffic lights, in schedule following appropriately shortly after the start of the assessment. Required queuing to proceed at a four-way stop. Appropriate speed control in all environments. Visual exploration adequate in all environments. No concerns noted. This is distance judge, whatever. Attention, Mr. Kowalski was able to adequately attend to the driving task in traffic environment. He was able to tolerate in-car distractions as directed conversation was complete complex driving maneuvers such as high-speed mergers. Executive functions, anticipation planning, whatever, judgment. At the time of the DEP on-road assessment, William Kowalski was able to adequately anticipate, plan, problem solve, and make appropriate judgments when driving in all environments. He was able to independently, appropriately drive to swing, whatever, that. Anyways, if we're going on that, and we're on to this one. Color perception, good. Visual perception speed, good. Time and manner, i.e. 60, high speed 60. On-road assessment, he was able to adequately proceed. Visual information, tracking and scanning, all good. In-house testing, moderate and severe, difficult with higher level of attention. A result during in-house testing were not consistent with Mr. Kowalski's performance during the road test. He was able to maintain his attention and focus throughout the on-road assessment while driving environment. Mr. Kowalski was able to multitask in driving. However, it is likely that an in-house test was conducted closer to the time of his taking his prescription pain medication. The side effects during that time, i.e. in-house testing. Whatever, they're saying the medication for pain is what's causing all these problems, and I've been telling them, like, hey, you know, I'm in pain, but oh no, I'm not in pain. I'm a lying bastard. Orientation to drive prior to the deep orientation. The client regarded the on-road assessment process and generally what can be expected. It was basically given the once around driver environment. Mr. Kowalski indicated he wanted to drive in all driving environments if possible. This was taken in consideration during the on-road portion of the assessment. During the assessment, Mr. Kowalski was given the opportunity to drive in residential areas, city center, low and high-speed traffic, and minimal and heavy traffic flows. Sunny roads were good. Anyways, personal, Mr. Kowalski reported that he did not take a scheduled hydromorphine content tablet until the on-road assessment was completed. Fatigue was not a factor during the on-road assessment. Pain behavior, which was observed during the in-house testing, were not apparent during the on-road assessment. Vehicle controls are adequate in all driving environments. So they're all sitting there going on about that. And then the recreational drugs and all that stuff there. NyQuil. Marijuana. Come on, give me a break. And as for driving history, reported that his driver's license is currently medically suspended. I have a Class 1A driver's license and has a work history of driving cab, truck, and city transit. He has not worked on the bus since the fall of 2007 due to the side effects of medication. Mr. Kowalski is aware. Will only make comments and recommending regarding Class 5 driver's license. Also, they denied me for that. He indicated that the main reason for waiting to drive for an independence for the personal activities, he said, I don't think I'll ever be able to drive truck again for a living. He indicated that he typically does not leave his home or drive in the evenings after approximately 8:30 p.m. Functional strength, range, and motion. Coordinating both upper and lower extremities. Purpose of driving. Demonstrated adequate neck range motion for shoulder check. Anyways, attitude, behavior. Repeated chronic pain. Narcotic use of his lawyer presumed involved with his tort claim during the in-house testing. July 7th incident in which he reported hit by a truck as a pedestrian. Pain behaviors were not observed during the on-road assessment. Mr. Kowalski reported that he did not take additional pain medications. Well, I'm not going to sit there and admit that I'm on all these freaking pills, especially when I'm driving. Provincially visually acuity requirements are met. Full peripheral visions and demonstrated brilliantly. Depth perception good. Contrast sensitivity was impaired. So, okay, so there's one impairment. Reason referral, 42, whatever, experienced chronic pain, blah, blah, blah. Driver's evaluation program, they didn't want Class 5 license. Past medical history. My thing there from Dr. Obregovich. And then all the pills and drugs and everything else that I've got wrong with me, along with, taking medications that can affect cognitive baclofen, clozapam, trazodone, and Tylenol reformers. This client stated that after hydromorphine content, he experiences some side effects, including dizziness, blurred vision, decreased reflex time, stomach queasiness of 1 hour post-dosage. Psychiatric illness. Specific details were not available. What do they want? I'm stressed out. Every doctor I talk to lies to me. All the psychologists aren't allowed to keep notes. And that I've got on record too. It says alcohol and drug abuse. No. But they got it down here. Muscular dysfunctional. Mr. Kowalski reported ongoing neck pain, muscular torso pain, headache, bilateral ankle pain, back pain, left knee pain, and left hip. Sleep dysfunction, MRI evidence of some disc bulging at C4 and 5 and C5 and 6. So what? The swelling and all that stuff? Oh, gee. Oh, doo-doo. Oh, Mr. Kowalski stated that he is taking salbutamol, whatever. It's just a puffer, baclofen, Pulmicort for breathing. And they're into the pills here, the trazodone, all the 4 pills, clozapam, 1 a day, all the rest of that crap. But anyways, here's the thing from workers' comp. As you were attending a range of Dr. Shawoosh, this guy is a real piece of work. I gotta go all the way to Regina from Prince Albert, spend 7 hours and 45 minutes on a bus. Drive down to see the guy from 6 o'clock in the morning. I can get there until like 1:30, I think, and then by the time I get there to see him, I haven't had lunch, breakfast, or nothing, so I was hungry. So I went and had a steak and a beer. He gave me shit for having a beer. A 42-year-old man at the time, I get shit for having a beer. And this is dated October 24th, 2007. And I'm already running down all the way over there. And this is the ridiculous part, because reimbursements and all that, healthcare services, regarding the information you wanted about Dr. Swoosh. Anyways, healthcare services have no record of me whatsoever in Canada. I called up Ottawa trying to get a hold of my records. There are none. These are just bus schedules sometimes. And here's me. I'm sitting there trying to get the Human Rights Commission, trying to figure out about other things, you know, employment insurance and other things. Accepted a complaint of discrimination and allegations of discriminatory acts must be directly linked to a prohibited ground. The act is very specific and as such does stipulate that the complainant must show real and probable grounds for believing that a discriminatory act has taken place, and in doing so must also show grounds that a correlation exists between the discriminatory practices and grounds of discrimination. A person may receive unfair treatment but is not related to the grounds of discrimination as listed under the Canadian Human Rights Act. It would not constitute discrimination. This basically says that they can do whatever they want, and the human rights won't even intervene because it's too much like bullshit. Here's a little letter from Karen Shaw, MD, Medical Manager, Complaints Individual and Resolutions. The committee would advise that you are unhappy in the outcome of this assessment. You should contact the Advocate of Workers' Compensation Board, who can outline what appeal options you might have. Well, I've already found out you don't have any options when you sit there and go and argue up against Workers' Compensation Board, because it's nothing but hooey. And the complaint I have against the WCB and their doctors throughout my ordeal of red flag on documents written on my WCB file. All the assessment teams and specialists that followed are all under WCB retainer, and my complaint fell under the College of Physicians and Surgeons just to be squashed by a socialist company, manipulated for, as I can think be true, is that the people are financially connected through fraudulent medical coverage to make no claim available to complaints or even agree. This plus the evidence of my licenses being suspended due to injury or medication from the accident on July 27th, 2007, so the medical environment is tainted. All the sources are illegal matters after my lawyer and I are finished with the SGI appearance and the doctors who lied fraudulently and lost, installed, and destroyed documents. And that I can prove too, because 8 sets of x-rays just won't go disappearing. Anyways, and I've already read this, but here you go. It's them dogs, they're saying. And they're saying I've got an NyQuil habit, and oh my god, I could have marijuana use with all my medications, and that could cause a detrimental effect. Oh my god. That's if I smoke a joint. And even if I do, what's it to them? It's not like I'm working. Hello? I'm disabled now. And this is the friggin' ridiculous part. You know, I tell them I'm taking NyQuil there at this test because I'm sick. I had a cold when I went to the damn thing. And they knew I had a cold. I told them. But what do? They write in, ooh, e.g. NyQuil and marijuana, possible impacts for all this stuff. This is ridiculous. And it's not clear to what extent Mr. Kowalski's history of mental health issues may impact his driving safety. Who and what the hell is that? These people are saying I'm crazy, but gee, I wonder who's driving me crazy. There's got to be SGI and WCB, because there's nobody else. And when making recommendations, considerations is given to the client's ability to respond appropriately to the time of the emergency or emergent unexpected situations. Consideration is also given to the client's ability to anticipate, problem solve, and organize. So in other words, not saying I'm dumb. They're just saying I'm a doper. Ooh. What they're really saying is, and I can tell you this from law, is that under the medication that I'm under, I'm not legal to drive. The problem with that is there's other people out there right now on the same medication driving truck, buses, cars. And the thing is, they get into an accident, they're charged for driving under the influence. And for me, I told them, I said, well, how am I supposed to drive a bus while taking these medications? Like, I'm responsible for private passengers taking a transit system. And if I get into an accident, any kind of accident, not even one that's not my fault, under the law with the medication that I'm taking, I'm the one that's liable. So ever since then, I haven't had any rights. No legal obligations, no nothing, no trust. The doctors all keep fucking lying. But anyways, there's my little bit of paperwork. I hope it helps, but that's my biggie. I tell the truth, and they hold it against me. They tell lies, and it doesn't even work, because they can lie anytime they want. And they do. And they'll get the paperwork to do it. That's how they get everything overturned so quickly in a year. They've owned the courts. That's when I found out about filing a claim at small claims court, just to sit there and find out who would be responsible. Coke, SGI, or WCB for my accident. And the provincial court said I had to take it to the federal matter. The federal matter said I had to take it to the provincial matter, so nobody will even deliberate who's responsible. Hell, I'm a guy walking in a parking lot. I get hit by a Coke truck, and nobody's responsible.